The game Tower of Trials was losing its popularity due to its extreme difficulty. Jin-wook was the first person to successfully conquer the game. However, one day Tower of Trials became a reality and human lives were threatened. Only Jin-wook had the ability to prevent this catastrophe. But he has no intention of saving the world for free. He's determined to reap all the riches, followers, and fame of an S-grade hero. Have his new abilities drained away his humanity? Or did he gain those powers because he was becoming a monster? We're going to reveal the story in detail, so if you're curious, please destroy that like button and subscribe button below. And don't forget to leave your comments down below to let us know how you like it. Trash game refers to a game that simply isn't fun or is unbalanced or has subpar administration or absurd difficulty level. The virtual reality game Tower of Trials is in this category. When the game was released, Korean gamers, whose hobby it was to conquer the game before the developers even expected them to, got on the grind to conquer the game. But once 3 years had gone by, people just stopped playing the game because they started realizing that it was completely unbeatable. This game was not intended for fun. Rather, it was almost like torture for those who played it. However, there were still pros who continued to play this impossibly difficult game, including Jin-wook. Luckily, he became the first person to have cleared the Tower of Trials after 11 years devoted to it. Then the game system announced that there would be a reboot to update this version. But Jin-wook decided to quit the game because the salary of $500 a month as a streamer wasn't stable enough. And he was already 27 years old. So he planned to post a notice that he was quitting the job, but suddenly, the Tower of Trials became real, and everyone was notified that they had to clear the next floor within 90 days, or humanity would perish. The news was bombastic, but our lead quickly made up his mind. He rushed out to hoard items. On his way out, he felt a strange excitement filling his heart. Jin-wook made his way to an underground mall, where, in the game, there was an event station. There, he saw a bunch of people already waiting and immediately knew that these people had also played the game. All of those people were fully on guard, as the item is extremely limited in quantity. Then a nicely dressed man approached Jin-wook. He was the CEO of the streamer agency that Jin-wook was signed onto. Knowing that Jin-wook spent a great deal of time on the game, the man offered him a collaboration to gain more of the item. But Jin-wook, who worked under the slavery-like contract of the man's company, immediately knew his ill intentions, so he just punched the guy in the face. Suddenly, from the ground, a mangrove grew tall and lush. It immediately fruited 4. These are the magic fruits that give strength, agility, health, and magic stats. The other players immediately fought for the fruits, but Jin-wook stood calmly on the side. Most people don't even know about the fruit. Those who played the game a few times focused on getting the fruit, but Jin-wook enjoyed the more sadistic and perverted process that followed. He thought that eating the mangrove fruit would increase his agility and power. Jin-wook planned to work with Lee Young-soo to distract the tree and make it easier to approach. However, Young-soo betrayed him and refused to attack the tree with Jin-wook. After they had agreed to do it together, when it jerked, Jin-wook knew that the tree would attack whoever stood farthest away, and secretly laughed about the fact that Young-soo was the one attacked by the tree. Jin-wook then used his exceptional memory of the tree's attack patterns to take advantage and access the core of the mangrove. Finally, the core of the mangrove was revealed, exactly as Jin-wook had experienced in the game. However, this was just a mob event that did not provide any experience. At best, it was only giving a spot in the Hall of Fame. Jin-wook was attacked by the tree from many directions, but he had nothing to fear because he had repeated this process many times before. When Jin-wook was close to winning, from the tree a flock of butterflies flew out. They were the sleep butterflies that spread sleeping powder, so Jin-wook had to fight while holding his breath. Finally, he defeated the mangrove. Jin-wook finally got his hand on the tree orb, the truly precious item that he came for. This item is no less than a hack for players, as it gives stat points, 4 times than that of fruits. Jin-wook ate the orb and checked his status interface. As expected, he achieved 12 stat points and was no doubt the strongest level. Later on, when the clip of Jin-wook defeating the mangrove was uploaded with his face censored, the forum exploded. Everyone was stunned by his combat skills. Jin-wook also received tons of offers from companies with sky-high salaries. Just yesterday, Jin-wook was hardly getting by, but now he knew that his knowledge and experience were invaluable. Ignoring the appealing offers, Jin-wook planned on his next move, to collect the replicas of the holy items at the National Museum of Korea. That night, entering the museum, having expected that other top players had already made it there, Jin-wook was fully on guard. People came to the National Museum of Korea for the Great Map of the Eastland. The map is now imbued with magical energy and contains information about the Tower of Trials. It shows where the mazes and ruins are, and explains which monsters and items are found inside them. While everyone was fighting to get the map, a strong man walked up and ordered everyone to stand still, threatening to kill them if they moved. He was confident because he had an awakened, unique ability. before anyone could find out what his ability was. An old man claiming to be a kind and peaceful person approached him. The young man arrogantly threatened to break the old man's neck like a chicken, but his mouth brought him misfortune because the old man had magic fire type and turned the young man into coal with just one finger. The old man collaborated with a girl who seemed beautiful but had a dark and sinister power. She had a miniature black dog and threatened anyone who moved would immediately become enemies and be killed by her monster dog. He monster immediately grew larger after being released and frightened everyone, causing them to retreat and give up on the map. However, Jinhook walked boldly and without fear and picked up a historical document, which really irritated the girl. She attacked him. To the girl's surprise, Jinhook easily deflected the spear with bare hands. The girl lost her confidence and snotty attitude. She hastily took out her other Anubis statues, to which Jinhook expressed that he was impressed. That's sarcasm, if you can't tell. Knowing well that the gap between him and the girl was way too large, Jinhook smiled confidently. The girl was enraged by Jinhook's unrespectful attitude. She commanded the Anubis to attack him. Jinhook threw an ancient painting out and inserted his mana into it, activating the Pinewood Tiger. The tiger easily ate up the Anubis. Jinhook's new way of using artifacts and his powerful magic was threatening to the girl. She kneeled due to the overwhelming fear. Winning the fight, Jinhook came over to the girl and asked her to hand him something. The girl pretended that she didn't know what he was talking about, but Jinhook simply said it out loud. He wanted the mask of Tutankhamun. The girl refused, saying that the mask is useless in Korea, but with the threat of the tiger, she gave in and handed Jinhook the artifact. He left the place aiming for the strongest skills in the game after leaving his tiger behind to guard the others against following him. Jinhook went upstairs and met the old man. They saw a one-star barrier that was resistant to physical and magical attacks. However, there was a way to destroy it, but there was a condition. The old man had to use his flame magic constantly to weaken the barrier until Jinhook went inside and came back out with all the necessary relics. Jinhook was weak and couldn't hold the magic for too long, so even though the old man might not believe him, it was the best option for that moment. Jinhook promised to give the old man the map in return for something else, which made the old man trust him. When he entered, he found a cabinet with a broken sword inside, indicating that someone had been there before and was the one who put up the barrier. However, Jinhook didn't care about the sword. He was looking for the chain coins from the Joseon era to combine them with two other relics to create the most powerful weapon in the Tower of Trials, the Eye of Truth, which allowed him to copy and store the many abilities that exist in this world, as well as using those skills to create even stronger ones. Meanwhile, the old man was struggling to hold the barrier for a longer period of time. Jinhook wanted to copy the ability of the old man, and the copy condition was to reveal the old man's true feelings. To piss off the guy and copy his ability, Jinhook revealed to him that his spending up his flame all the while was useless. Then, Jinhook even burned the map. This was also to get rid of the possibility that someone might gain the map and any advantages over him. Jinhook wanted to secure his leading position. The man was furious and swore out loud. Jinhook took the chance and immediately copied his fire elemental skills. The man wanted to attack Jinhook, but he was astounded to see Jinhook using his exact power with much stronger intensity. The man instead just gave up. Before leaving, Jinhook ordered the man and the girl to level up while waiting for him to contact them. Heading home, Jinhook was extremely pleased with all his gains. He was planning on gaining the next skills when his stomach was growling. So, Jinhook decided to drop by a local shop for gukba. In the shop, people were discussing the passing away of many people at the national museums of many countries last night. Through the news, Jinhook learned that the government had established the Awaken Association in response to the Tower of Trials incident. Nationwide recruitment is open for those with powers, and the association's president also announced special treatment for Jinhook if he were to join them. Jinhook had no intention of joining others no matter what. In this world, the value of a single, well-trained individual was worth more than that of 100 average ones. The Tower of Trials had opened, and as a celebration for entering the tower, each player was provided with 100 coins, the currency used within the tower. Players could upload videos showcasing their accomplishments and earn 100 coins for every 10,000 views. However, cheating or manipulating view counts would result in punishment. The more famous the player became, the more coins they could earn. Everyone was in a hurry to clear the tower as quickly as possible and be ahead of the others. However, for Jin, sharing information with others would be a greater loss than earning coins. Jinhook came to Labyrinthos, which was a maze designed by Daedalus in Crete, famous for its confusing layout and various traps to discourage people from entering. A group of people had spied on Jinhook and saw him open the labyrinth without a key, proving that this floor was not that difficult. Some were afraid that Jinhook would not share the items with them, so they plotted to let him have his eternal rest inside the labyrinth. The girl quickly offered Jinhook to collaborate with the team to share the risks. Friendly as the girl seemed, Jinhook sensed something unjust. He activated his Eye of Truth and saw her stats. Jinhook is extremely interested in the girl's commune skills, which makes one appear friendly to any stranger. This will be a great help when he asked to deal with that winged girl, so he agreed to work with them. Friendly, they introduced themselves to each other. The leading girl grabbed Jinhook's arm and activated her commune skills, asking Jinhook which floor he had climbed to. Jinhook fluttered, but knowing that it was her skills, he pushed her away. He warned the group that the labyrinth changes at fixed points in time, and when they were still confused, the labyrinth quaked forcefully. It was extremely dangerous for everyone else, but it was nothing for Jinhook. Learning that they couldn't escape the labyrinth, they were all desperate, blaming Jinhook for not warning them earlier. Jinhook couldn't care less. He bluntly said that he didn't ask them to follow him, and the consequences that they faced would be of their own ill intention. One of the boys was about to attack Jinhook when a gigantic monster appeared and finished him. When the group froze in fear, Jinhook attacked the monster vigorously and quickly gained the hidden stat, Gap. Jinhook had gained a hidden stat called Gap, which narrowed the gap in battles with stronger opponents, but widened when fighting weaker ones. He'd already endured the Minotaur's attack thousands of times in the past, and his body had memorized all of the attack patterns. Jinhook was a veteran, so no matter how powerful the attack was, it was useless if it didn't hit him. During his fight with the Minotaur, Jinhook deliberately allowed himself to be injured because he believed that a few drops of blood were well worth the increase in hidden stats. He intentionally let himself get hit to improve his strength. Meanwhile, the rest of the group was hiding and trying to find a way out. They didn't want to die, but Jinhook noticed their intentions and interrogated them about why they weren't fighting. Suddenly, the maze changed, and they moved to another scene. The group began to argue and wanted to escape the labyrinth because it was dangerous. Jinhook offered to help them find the exit, but they had to stay in the maze for at least 30 days, and nothing was free. If they wanted to go with him to the exit, they had to pay him coins. The forum exploded for a piece of news about the Hall of Fame. A player successfully made the world's first 10+ refinement to their item, and of course, that person was our main lead, Jinhook. In the maze, after ripping off the two followers, Jinhook opened the artifact exchange interface and got himself a deck of enchanted tarot cards, an ancient bronze key, a wooden wagon wheel piece, and some lottery refinement scrolls. These are the kinds of items that other players wouldn't even take a look at, but Jinhook knew how to make the most of even the trashiest items. He quickly combined 3 items to make an S-level Wheel of Fortune. With the help of the lucky wheel, he maxed out his luck. He took out the lottery scrolls and used them on his dagger, easily refining it with his full-on luck. Fast forward to 10 days later. The two followers had already turned hopeless from the hell they were, taking everything in stride. Desperate to know that it would take their guild 3 weeks to rescue them, the two wanted to take the chance when Jinhook was sleeping to unalive him. The young man had planned to assassinate Jin, but Hannah stopped him because even though Jinhook was sleeping, his reaction speed was incredible and he would likely wake up the moment he was attacked and counterattack. Hannah had intended to use the stinger of a giant zucchini wasp, a lethal poison that could kill 100 trolls with a single drop to finish him off while they were eating. Hannah secretly put poison in the food, but Jinhook knew what she was up to. When the two of them turned their heads, he switched the food with the young man's. As expected, he ate the poisoned food and passed away. Furthermore, Jinhook discovered that they were secretly broadcasting. He reported it to the system, and the viewers were immediately punished by being kicked out of the broadcasting room and banned from watching any videos for a month. Hannah's punishment was even more severe when she received the news the Minotaur appeared. Hannah believed that Jinhook would always protect her as he had done before, but this was not the case. The 240-hour collaboration had ended, and Jinhook had learned her communication skills and no longer needed her. Nevertheless, Jinhook continued to attack the Minotaur until it brought out its final skills, the level 10 Berserk state. Threatening to shred Jinhook apart, it attacked him, but Jinhook had been improving as well. He fended off its attack and proactively counterattacked it, noticing that Jinhook was smiling in such a dangerous fight. The girl was speechless and frightened. During the fight, Jinhook had already gotten his gap stat increased to 57. When the Labyrinthos was confident that it could beat Jinhook in one last punch, the explosion ended and it was suspended for 24 hours. Jinhook's gap stat is now enough for him to narrow down 19 levels, compared to his opponent. Hannah and Jinhook became the first people to clear the labyrinth. Their accomplishment video will be broadcast in the Hall of Fame tomorrow. As a reward, each player will receive 5,000 coins. But Jinhook took Hannah's coins because she was his intern and had to obey his orders. Jinhook is now the player with the most coins on the server. He ordered Hannah to return and bring him Bran's ring within 3 days. Jinhook decided to find his old game friends. They met at a cafe and introduced themselves again. The girl, named Manhwa, and the man named Lai Taemin. Jinhook felt comfortable with them because they were very sociable and would be good friends with each other. The two told Jinhook what had happened in the past month, including the Awakening Association's testing to classify players. Those who did not meet the requirements failed and could not go to the second floor, but those with above F score could pass and would be flooded with offers to join guilds. Today, Jinhook and Hannah went to be tested, and they met Hannah's older brother, Park Hajin. To copy his skills, Jinhook had to maximize the hostility between the two. After easily knocking down the enraged guild member, Jinhook met Kim Kate, the guild's head whose level is over 20. He challenged Kim on the fact that his subordinate was providing Korean ginseng to China, and mentioned the remedy to ginseng's side effects. To prevent the public's eyes, Kim established a blackout barrier around him and Jinhook. Jinhook's companions were very worried and rushed to help, but Jinhook was all calm. Inside, Jinhook offered the information about the last ingredient in exchange for access to Kim's guild's 10 dungeons. Kim, although very skeptical, accepted the offer. When he wanted to attack Jinhook to threaten him a bit, Jinhook destroyed his barrier and got out easily. That Jinhook easily got out shocked everyone, and he was able to max the hostility between him and the guild members, thus successfully copying his skill, shallow breathing. He moved on to do the prowess test. To the officer's shock, Jinhook walked confidently to the middle grade test stone and cut it in half. He threatened the office not to post his result until 1 week later. Coming out, he received the Graham ring from Parkana. After lying to his two friends about his ranking, he headed home while planning on taking the dungeon test on the first floor's only ruin, a domain that no one has ever cleared. Jinhook went to the ruins of the mountain, but as an F-rank player, he couldn't enter alone and had to register as a porter. When Jinhook was analyzing other players' stats, another friendly porter reminded him to hurriedly distribute the water and ice to the team, realizing that they had the Zion Guild symbol on their armor. Jinhook used his communication skills to try to be friends with them. The youngest daughter of the European aristocratic family of Laurentia, Teresa, was there. She was one of the most famous players in Europe. She was a 29 level player, and Jinhook had to save a woman from a dangerous situation to copy her innate skills. As for Chunwa's team, they accidentally hit the Guardian's entry, which triggered the ruined security system's sleeping bomb. When the bomb was awakened, it summoned Guardians to protect the ruins, and they only had 10 minutes left. They faced two options: evacuate the non-combatants or continue to fight without backup. Chunwa chose to continue because they had the Saint Teresa with them, and they didn't have a chance to start over again. However, awakening the Guardians was very serious and dangerous, making his followers worried. The captain rapidly arranged for his team to fight against the Ruins Guard. To ensure the lowest loss, the captain demanded this member give up on the solo players. They were about to be demolished by the knights, but Teresa came to the rescue. She quickly moved to find the rear team. There, Jinhook just saved the nice uncle's life. He continued to defeat another knight, but he refrained from slaying it to remain on level 1. When Teresa arrived, she saw Jinhook holding a knife in front of the uncle and mistook it that he was trying to harm him. She quickly got the man away and pointed her sword toward Jinhook. She fought without hearing Jinhook's explanation, so Jinhook had no choice but to fight back. When he finally captured her, the uncle was able to explain the misunderstanding. After that, the two friendly chatted. Jinhook offered to accompany Teresa inside the ruins, as the two's desired items were in the same place. Teresa agreed, but this also meant that she would have to separate from the guild. The guild agreed with the condition that she returned before their main quest started. Jinhook also volunteered to go with her in the name of love. As they entered Peter's Oath, both Teresa and Jinhook received an indirect message from the boss master. Teresa believed that the boss master acknowledged them, while Jinhook was overconfident and thought that the boss master acknowledged only him. Since Jinhook knew all the details of the ruin, Teresa asked what they should do, and he suggested that they should attract the undead monsters by showcasing her divine power. As a result, Teresa managed to unleash the undead. Additionally, Jinhook avoided accidentally leveling up. Afterward, the elite lick of the hidden ruins appeared and used a powerful move called Black Lightning that could destroy the undead flying or crawling. Even a class 3 barrier and a level 5 energy shield could be destroyed, and Teresa was in danger. Jinhook wondered what to do as the situation was different from the game he played. However, just as the elite lick was about to win, he was suddenly attacked and killed by a young man. The attacker said, "I finally found you," but Jinhook did not recognize him. The man's sword awakened Jinhook's memory. He was tuned, the strongest swordsman in the game, and a defeated opponent of Jinhook, who stalked him everywhere to fight again. Of course, in this encounter, he wanted to challenge Jinhook again. Before entering the battle with Jinhook picked up a mysterious pill from a coffin. In the battle, Jinhook activated his skills with added buffs to his stats and debuffed Jinhook. This unintentionally activated the special condition of Jinhook's fusion skills. That is, when Jinhook is at a drastic disadvantage to his opponent, he can copy skills before the condition is fulfilled. The match commenced. Jinhook used his dagger as his sword and attacked Chun. Chun, without hesitation, used his ace card, the sword energy, against Jinhook. This put Jinhook at risk of breaking his dagger. That was when the pill came in handy. Jinhook fused the pill with his sword skills to fight. The overwhelmingly strong power of Jinhook and the sword destroyed the man's confidence. Losing the match, he demanded Jinhook take his life. But Jinhook ascertained his strength and said that he looked forward to their next match. Before leaving, Chun revealed to us groundbreaking information. Jinhook's gamer name, Poop Fart. An iron golem appeared carrying a high-ranking vampire named Velis on his shoulders. Velis came with a proposal for Shunhua. Either come with him quietly or become his appetizer while the others are dragged along. The system sent Teresa a message inviting her rescue the assault team by coming to the innermost room of the Cloister of the Fallen. If she accepts this quest, all monsters and traps leading up to the last room will be halted. Teresa's worried and hesitant because she wants to rescue the team, but she knows that she can't defeat Alice alone. And the outcome would not be different even if she had the support of her assault team. Yansuang advised her that although Jinhook is extremely arrogant, he's the only one who can defeat Alice. Therefore, Teresa made a commission deal with Jinhook. If he helped her defeat Alice, she would give him all the coins she had. They both went to meet Alice, a female vampire, who uncovered her reason for calling them. She smelled the sweet scent of gin. They also saw Jinhook tied up, proving that he was the one who awakened the Guardians. Jinhook showed no fear despite Alice's psychopath attitude. He kneeled in front of her, offering something even sweeter than his blood, freedom. Then Jinhook presented himself as the representative of the demonic humanity of the Towel, claiming that he'd reached the temple on the 27th floor. Persuasive, but Alice didn't believe him. She attacked him forcefully, but Teresa fended it off. When Teresa had just confirmed to herself that Jinhook would have her back, he stabbed her. Alice was totally amused seeing the betrayal. She challenged him further and he did it again, which totally persuaded Alice. He then explained his plan to Alice. He would use the 7-star skill soul transfer that required him to stay on level 1, to seal her soul into the Graham ring to fool the ruins barrier, thus taking her out. He implemented the magic and offered it to Alice. Skeptical, yet the desire for freedom was too large. Alice stepped in and vowed to agree to the magic after telling her subordinate to slay Jinhook if he showed any malicious intent. The magic completed, Alice recited in the ring. When everything seemed to have settled, Teresa revived under Jinhook's welcome. Alice realized that she had been deceived only after being sealed inside Graham's ring. Meanwhile, Teresa arrived to rescue the people in her assaulting force, including the captain of the Balhag Guild. Teresa thanked Jinhook for helping her overcome this difficulty. Even though dying in the hands of an ally was pretty painful, she knew that Jinhook had a reason for doing what he did, and perhaps he knew that she had the ability to revive. At the same time, the system announced that Jinhook had just saved Teresa from death, fulfilling the condition to copy her skills and receiving the blessing of the star. Jinhook was stood up to compete for the many items and relics they had cleared from the first floor of the ruins, promising to compensate Jinhook appropriately. He intended to take the fragment of Merlin's staff, but as soon as he touched it, he was cursed and lost all his hair, including eyebrows and eyelashes. Many affiliates of the Awakening Association were waiting outside the ruins to gather information about who cleared the ruins. Contrary to their expectations, the hero was not Chunhua or Teresa, but a masked player, Jinhook. Jinhook arrived home safely after stirring the internet with his solo clear of the ruin. He took out the Graham ring to talk with Alice, yet she kept her arrogance. Jinhook then gave her a free roller coaster ride, so good and so joyful that she was about to puke. He summoned Alice after torturing her. Alice was ready to take her revenge on Jinhook, but realizing that she had contracted in size and power, she couldn't help but cry out loud. Then the two made a new agreement. Alice would assist Jinhook and he will help her take back her Ataraxia family's head position. The next day, Jinhook came to the Black Crow Guild's building to take his revenge for all that they had caused inside the ruin. Easily passed through the low-level members, he quickly got to the top floor, where Park Hashinhook was being scolded severely for his stupidity. Park Hashin, in order to regain the trust of the guild leader, attempted to knock down Jinhook. Yet again, he failed. Jinhook then challenged the guild leader and easily swiped off his sword. He commanded him to talk about his redemptions. The guild master threatened Jinhook by saying that he had 50 ranking players in his guild. They would seek revenge if Jinhook caused harm to him because blood calls for blood and revenge reads revenge. However, Jinhook didn't care and attacked the guildmaster, causing him to be thrown out the door in an instant. Jinhook told Park Hashinhook that the only reason he was still alive was that his little sister had done a lot for him until now. Jinhook saw the guildmaster secretary Kim, who had a decent profile as a student at Stanford, majoring in computer science. Jinhook had Kim run for guildmaster, but Kim was afraid of the guild members' opposition, so he let Alice manage the guild. Jinhook ordered Kim to urgently send a message to the rankers in the guild, summoning them to the main building. When they arrived, they found that the former guildmaster was unalive on top of a car. The world was now discussing the mask layer, and only 2 people knew about him, Teresa and the guildmaster's secretary. Therefore, Jinhook asserted that he could now be free without worrying about monopolizing the world, after getting his identity from the Awakened Association. Kang Jinhook came out to see his friends waiting outside. He introduced Alice and Kim Hee-won to Yanhua and Taemin, the three, but Alice quickly got along. She's a bit of a Zumadare, if you know what I mean. After quarreling about Alice's fuss yesterday, Jinhook and Alice headed to their hunt. They arrived at Moonlight Lake. It was the most beautiful scenery in the Tower of Trials, yet deserted as people tried to conquer the tower to save humanity. Jinhook stepped into the water, stopping at a carp statue that had a groove in it. This groove was noticed a while ago, but no one had succeeded in opening it. Little did they know that the key to opening the groove was not any factual item, but instead moonlight. Jinhook placed his hand on the statue and adjusted it for the moonlight to enter, and opened the door leading underground. Stepping down, even Alice was surprised to have found such a place. Suddenly, Jinhook wondered if Alice and the other beings inside the tower knew that they were NPCs of a game, so he asked, but a glitch happened, preventing them from talking. A bunch of insects crawled out from all sides and stopped Jinhook's train of thought. Jinhook ordered Alice to eliminate the bugs. But at first Alice didn't listen because she thought of herself as a noble person. However, Jinhook reminded her that she's just a progenitor. So Alice activated Bloodbind and wiped out all the bugs. At the same time, Jinhook was leveling up rapidly and feeling relieved that he didn't have to hold himself back anymore to prevent himself from leveling up. He had been quite stressed out about maintaining his level 1 status. At the Olympus Guild conference room, which gathered representatives from the top-ranking guilds on the Korean server, everyone was struggling to clear the 4th floor. Out of the 15 attack forces made up of 100 people, only 9 returned. They gathered to solve the problem before them and received word from the demonic humans. They said they would help if the players agreed to one of their conditions: joining forces with them. Everyone was reluctant to cooperate, disgusted by the idea of working with demonic humans. However, they realized that their current strength was not enough to accomplish anything. It was worth a shot because the public would never need to know about the offer. Jinhook's call relieved Teresa. She briefly explained the situation to him. Jinhook put on his mask and sent a collective call invitation to everyone in the room. Thanks to the infamous challenging quests that he had cleared, Jinhook has become the most wanted newbie for guilds all over the world. So needless to say, the leaders were overjoyed to see him. The mysterious demonic human also had heard of him. Jinhook took his time to debunk the man's braggings about demonic humans' abilities and revealed to everyone that the man's staff was just a mock-up of the real thing. The man got away. Jinhook then offered to the guild leaders that he could help them clear the 3rd floor for no reward, explaining that he was doing all of this for Teresa, his precious comrade.
If you like this video, make sure to like and share it, and also don't forget to subscribe to the channel to never miss interesting anime like this, and also comment below to know the name of the anime.